Yeah, I'm just gonna hit record and we can begin. So,
Okay.
just like last time, can you just, yeah, if you want to hold it, should that'd be
Sure.
great. Like last time, can you just give me your full name? Tell me how you spell it.
Mackenzie Wagman, Mackenzie Wagman.
So last time we talked to you, I believe it was in February. You were looking to hopefully get surgery for your condition in Canada. Can you kind of give me a timeline? What's been happening last few months and where you're headed to soon?
Yeah, so since February, I've had a diagnostic injection called a discogram into my L4-5 disc to see if that's contributing to some of my pain other than the L5S1 where the bones are rubbing together. I had that procedure and it was basically a nightmare. They ended up hitting my spine 4 times, contacted multiple nerves, and this procedure went on for over 20 minutes. They then decided they were unable to unable to do it correctly, so they had to do it with the guidance of a CT after and give me some light sedation and stuff like that, which they ended up having to do the procedure from above my hip to locate the disc to inject the gel. After that, they said that the disc likely the procedure was done correctly after that second procedure. Since then, I followed up with the surgeon who requested that. He doesn't believe that there's anything wrong with me. He basically said, I don't want to call you crazy, but there's no pain coming from the areas that you suspect it is. You're fused, there's no hardware issues. And I kind of asked him, well, that's not fair to say. You just cannot provide me any other solutions or reasons as to why I would be having this pain. After that, I contacted the surgeon in Virginia again, and he went over all of my imaging that I sent him again, and he showed me on the video consult where the hardware is loose, where the joint is still have motion, and that there are these issues that were left untreated, and now currently it's still has issues that he will address when I go down there. We've also had our MLA write to the Ministry of Health a number of times for the minister to contact me, as I requested a meeting at least a handful of times between the Minister of Health and Scott Moe. I've been ignored basically every time up until last Thursday, where somebody from the medical service branch at the Ministry of Health reached out just reiterating that I need a surgeon willing to write a letter for the funding, and it will not be reimbursed if I decide to go down to the States. It's very hard trying to find a surgeon to do that, as the last surgeon that I just spoke about, when I asked if he would write the letter, he basically said that's not something he's willing to do, as the Canadian Spine Institute will not approve any case like this. I find that very unfair for them to deny writing the letter and deny the request before it even gets to the ministry and let them make that decision. I've consulted with the surgeon in Virginia. We have booked something for the end of this month. The treatment plan that he has and the confidence he has in this will resolve my pain. He's treated about 150 other people with this condition. I've spoken with people who have had this exact procedure that I am getting, with not just the L5S1 fusion, but the L4-5 disc replacement. And they are 10 months out, and they are doing 99% better than they were before. So I'm very hopeful, based on the last 2 procedures that I had here locally, that I do know that could be not the greatest outcome just due to what I've had in the past year, but hoping that it will be beneficial to go there.
Obviously, like you mentioned, because no one's basically gave you their approval, or you didn't get a form from the surgeon here to go to America to get coverage, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. So can you talk about the expenses and how you hope to recover them?
Yeah, so the expenses are going to be probably a baseline of about $100,000 for the procedure, and travel and accommodations. I'll be there for about 10 days. We've used every resource that we can to come up with this funds. We've started a GoFundMe to try and help recoup some of those costs. GoFundMe wasn't even really my idea. I don't feel great about it, but when I tried contacting Scott Moe's office to set up that meeting, she wasn't very inclined to set that meeting up. Instead, she just suggests that I start a GoFundMe and kind of get the public to fund this, instead of setting up just a meeting and just hearing me out. And maybe it's not something they're interested in doing, but at least kind of listen to the concerns and the issues that I've been having with this health system here. Yeah, the funds for the procedure, it's really hard to even make that decision to spend $100,000 and what that'll do for the future and everything like that for us financially. Kind of see how that goes, but we've done everything we can here for 5 years, trusted the system, now have zero trust, faith in the system, and kind of have to take matters into your own hands and do what is best for you to kind of get your life back and get things back on track here.
How far has that GoFundMe gone in terms of raising funds, and are you concerned about getting $100,000 or even more?
So yeah, there's no way that I would expect anybody to donate the amount that we would need. That's just with the cost of life and everybody else struggling in this economy. They have their own family that they need to take care of. We also have like the fires and everything else that's going on that it'll be more beneficial for somebody to help out that helps a vast majority of people instead of one select person or their family. The money that we've raised is definitely very helpful, but it is a small percentage of what the total cost of this is going to be. But I'm very, very thankful for everybody who has shared or donated to the GoFundMe itself. It really does mean a lot that there's people out there still willing to give, whether it's a small amount or a large amount. Just anything does help.
From your understanding, let's say you get the surgery, but then someone in Canada kind of says, hey, maybe is it possible that someone in Canada can after cover, or is it no, once you go to America, it's like it's pretty much all on you?
So as far as I understand, the ministry, the letter that they give me is that there is no reimbursement if I decide to go to the States. It's very disheartening knowing that, like that you're basically left on your own and there's nothing. I did talk to a politician who suggested that there's maybe the ombudsman who could try and help you overturn the decision given to you by the Ministry of Health, and also that there is possibly a legal route that you can take after if the procedure does work to try and recoup the costs. But that does cost additional funds that you need in order to kind of get that process started, and there's still a chance that you will not get the reimbursement. So yeah, not really not too sure what the end game of that looks like, but the main goal is to go down there and just get better and hopefully just put all this in the past, but continue try to spread awareness for the condition, Bertolotti syndrome, in order to help other people here in Canada get the access to treatment that they do need.
Can you give me a timeline of when you land in America? I know you mentioned you're doing a free test beforehand and then the surgery. Can you kind of just give me a timeline of the events you're going to go through?
Yeah, so I'll leave here on the 23rd of June. I fly into Toronto, spend a few hours in Toronto, and I leave there and head to Virginia. Get there on the 24th. I have some nerve and bone density tests set up. The surgery will be the Thursday, the 26th. There will be a follow-up on that Monday, and if everything's good, we're able to come home a few days. Well, after that appointment, if everything is good, but we've given ourselves a couple days just because you don't know what could go wrong, like with the procedure or just really anything. It's not just a simple procedure I'm going down there for, so complications are a pretty big risk. So we kind of give ourselves a few more days, but everything could change once we're down there.
Is there a certain timeline for recovery? Is it just a few hours after surgery? Is there any potential pain, like for a few days, few weeks after?
Yeah, residual pain will last for weeks to months. They like to see a trend that you are improving and slowly getting better. They'll have you up and walking, likely that day or the next. I know my previous surgeries, I was up and walking for sure the next day. They like to get you mobile so everything doesn't stiffen up. Yeah, it's kind of, every person is different in recovery, but they like to see every few months that you're doing progressively better, and hopefully at the 6 to 9 month mark you're doing like way better than before.
Obviously, I know this has been hard on you, especially going out with your family. You mentioned it before. Can you talk a little bit about how this issue has been kind of prevent you from going out, and really what would it mean if if you could, walk again normally, go out?
Yeah, that would mean everything. For 5 years I've had this constant debilitating pain every day, and no matter what I do, that pain will get worse, leaving me in bed for days or a week at a time. To get my life back, be able to contribute, work, play with my kids is like a huge thing. Just be able to contribute to life and society again, be able to do little things that people might take for granted. Yeah, the outlook on what the future may hold is kind of something that you think about, but maybe may not be a reality. So I try not to think too much into that, but just kind of focus on the surgery, the recovery, and then see what happens after that.
I know you mentioned before, 99% of people after the surgery see improvement. So does that give you confidence going to the surgery, or are you feeling nervous?
Yeah, it gives me like the utmost confidence, knowing that somebody has treated this condition 150 times and that many people are doing much better after the procedure. Goes to show me that this isn't something that is in my head, that this is something that is real, and that there is a treatment that I am going to have done very soon. It makes it kind of sad that I don't have that available treatment here in Canada, and nobody here is willing to listen or learn about the condition. But yeah, just speaking to people who have gone through this, have had the procedure, and they are doing better, like, that's what you want to hear. That also gives you that confidence and optimism going into it, that this is going to get you your life back.
Once, say, the procedure works, is something like advocacy, more awareness for your condition, is that something you want to maybe raise awareness in Canada because of your experience, struggling for months, years just to get any treatment in Canada? Is that something you feel like post-surgery you want to do a little more advocacy, raising awareness of your condition?
Yeah, 100%. And I've kind of been trying to do that throughout this. There's many people here in Canada who are dealing with this. They don't have treatment, and I've spoken to people almost in every province, and they're going through the same thing. So I'm hoping that me stepping up, finding the funds, going to get this will open the eyes of the health system here, and we can get somebody to learn about the condition to be able to treat people here. But I won't stop spreading the awareness for this. It's not fair that there's people here and there is a cure and a treatment available, that we just don't have access to that here. It's really something difficult to even understand that we don't have that here in a country with very good health care, but you can't even find surgeons who can put their ego aside and who are even open to learning or hearing something new. It's really sad.
Can you describe on the worst days how painful it is for you just to walk around, get up? Like, how really bad is it for you on the worst days with the spin?
On the worst days, I'll just stay in bed. I have a hard time even laying on one side, rolling, walking, getting up to go to the washroom. I've tried so many different medications. Doctors continue suggesting stuff, but the fact that there is bones rubbing in my spine, and I now have a degenerated disc at the level above, any sort of movement just makes that pain much worse. And the best thing that you can do is just lay down in a bed and not do anything. But then, although that does help with your pain, the mental effect of doing that for days, and I've literally done that for the better part of 5 years, that mentally plays on you and causes other sort of issues that are sometimes almost worse than the pain once your mental kind of state gets altered.
So, it was great.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can stop now.
Yeah.